Okay, so what I would like to do is I'd like to try to get Dot Dungeon back up again. I had some problems the last time after I'd gotten it working, so you've probably seen those videos of the previous Dot Dungeon. I'd like to do pretty much the same thing, only with some of the things that sort of screwed me up last time. So there were two problems going on with the last attempt. The first was I tried to do everything as far as the map was concerned relationally, so that, you know, the only thing that a spot on the map knew was whether or not it was next to another spot on the map. So I tried to do a lot of things. I tried to do some things that were more or less I don't know, procedural or something like that for lighting and things like that didn't really work out very well. They were okay. They weren't great, but they actually did a reasonably good job. What got me was, one, when I made the map relational, there were a couple of places where just occasionally it would screw up and it would make something go through one passage, go through another passage without sort of connecting the passages. It wasn't supposed to connect the passages at all, but it wouldn't connect the passages. So you get this effect, and it's an effect you might see if you look at Vicious Orc or Smart Kobold or something like that, which were 7-day MAs. 7-day RLs, excuse me. I don't know where MA came from. Where, you know, you have this map and you'll just go around and it looks like, you know, it's overwriting the map. It looks a little bit like you're going down a level, even though you're not really going down a level. So that was a bit of a problem. It wasn't a really hard problem since I didn't want to have that smooth effect. If that just happened occasionally, then it would just meld in with what I wanted to do in the first place. But I'd like to fix that. I want to have things on one level, and if I want them on one level, and then only have the connections to other levels smooth if I make them that way, right? So that was one problem. That wasn't too bad. I could have kept working with that. But at some point I decided I wanted to make the objects different sizes, and that screwed me up. Mostly because of that same problem. That same problem just exacerbated itself when I needed to have 9 tiles for your average everyday adventurer dude, your average everyday rogue. So that's where I was. What I'd like to do here is I would like to go over some stuff before I start filling these in and just get a plan going. Just start programming and talk to you about it as I'm programming, and hopefully something good will happen. Let's see. So I'm going to insert a text box here, and I'm just going to say the things that I want to do. So the first thing I want to do this time is I want to make a square. Just one... just a single tile that you can put things in. It doesn't have to have anything right now. It should be able to have a thing in it, and I should just draw it on the screen. If I can draw it on the screen, that's fine. Then I'll make a room or a map. So make a room. Making a room involves making a map. And hand making pattern. So I'll make that pattern. I'll make a, say, 15 by 15. Well, no, it shouldn't be 15 by 15. Let's say 5 by 5. And where does 15 come from? That's 25. So I'll have a 5 by 5 grid, and I'll make a bunny shaped thing out of that. Let's say a little cross room with, a T sort of pattern. So that will be not this one, but the next video. I think I might try that. So let's switch these to ABCs and go down one. That's not really enough to get us going. I mean, it's enough to start with. It's enough to begin what we're going to do, but we want to go a little bit farther. We need to make a dude. And he should be able to move, right? Which means we have to have a control in there. So we'll do a little bit of control, move the guy around. That will be good. I should not have eaten the Cheetos before I started doing this. That has got some stuff on my teeth. Let's see. Home, back. Where's the back? Then I will make a hallway for him to walk in. So this has got to be procedurally generated. So we'll start with the procedural generation there. Should go in, one of several different patterns. I don't know how we want to build those patterns right now, but that would be reasonably good. At the end of the hallway, we want to make a MacGuffin. So maybe I'll change the name of the dungeon to be MacRogue or something like that. So we'll have a MacGuffin. Dude can pick it up. Okay, so if we've got that, we're almost there. Let's add the stairway as well. And dude can only go up with the MacGuffin. All right. So there we go. We're moving along. That's not quite a game. That's something you can win, but it's not something you can lose. So we need to have a game. A game is something you can either win or lose. So we'll have to make a monster. And he'll have to interpose himself between the dude and the MacGuffin. And probably just to add a little, that is right there a game. Well, we need more than that. We need add combat. Here, that means we need an inventory. Okay. And finally, we've made our monsters. What we probably want to do is to make a puzzle. Let's call it Guff McGufface. And so let's see, we'll activate a door with Guff McGuff face and beyond door key to Guff McGufface. So you have to get past Guff McGufface in order to get the MacGuffin. So let's put McGuffface before, no, not Begor, before. Begor comes after. Begor comes after the before. Let's see. Before monster. So we need a name for the monster. We've got plenty of time for that. Because I'm not going to make more than one of these per day. Alright, so there we are. We've got a nice list of things. All I want to do right now is make a square. Alright. So here we are. This is my base class. So these three are what have happened in the past. You've seen some of my other videos. I had another template that I had when I was teaching the game physics class. I've kind of made that a little more important, a little more complicated by adding these 4 different classes to it. I would say that I probably should not. A couple of these things might be too early, but I may have already. I've already put those in there, so let's not screw with it too much. They're not really big deals. The subscription services aren't too big of a deal. So let's just make sure it runs. So this is the big blank template here in full HD. It's full HD size. So that's what we want to draw onto. Alright, so what do we want? We want a square. I should not click on that. I have to remember not to click on that. It'll always do this each time. So unless I put a naughty picture behind this, I don't really think we should play with that. So we've got the dot dungeon, the game model, the game control, the game view. The square is in the model. Now, I might want to do more files for more classes, but I'll just try to put all the model stuff here, and then when I try to make things prettier later on, past the 7 things, I'll put the extra stuff in extra packages. So we'll just leave game model as one package. We've got our model there, and we've got our class here. We need a square. And when we have something, we need to initialize it, init with 2 things, 2 underscores on either side, self and the position, right? And let's have 0, 0 as the default position. Alright, so self x is equal to 0, self.y is equal to 0. Let's see, anything else we need? It's a square. We're going to need to make it contain something. We'll have to do something with occupation. And let's see, what other things do we need? We need self z. And we'll leave self z at 0. That's basically what level is the square on. Let's see, is there anything else? We don't need anything more for the square. It's not really what level the square is on, it's the partial levels. So if we want to make a ramp between 2 levels rather than just stairways, then we can have the ramp slowly go down by, say, 1/10 of a level, or at each time. So it goes from 0 to minus 0.1 to minus 0.2 to minus 0.3 to minus 0.4 to minus 0.5 to 4 on the next, 0.4 on the next level, 3, 0.2, 0.10. That way we have a ramp where half of the ramp starts on level 1 and ends on level 2. We can also give uneven ground or something like that. So if you have a large enough monster, if they're on uneven ground, maybe we can do something with that. Because it's a roguelike, we have to model everything just too much. We have to do too much modeling than is actually necessary, because otherwise, what's the point of making a roguelike? You may as well make a commercial game. All right, so now we need to draw. We can either view the square or draw the square. I never know which one I prefer. We'll just do that. Let's make scales the size of the squares, so that when I can make something very, very small, something with a scale of 1, it basically has nothing, and then something with a scale of 7 has size 7 squares, right? Let's make it bigger. Let's start at 15. 7's actually pretty small if you're just talking about the number of pixels, which is what we're talking about. So you might see I have opponents here. That's from another game, and I've done that because this next part I can never actually remember what to do. So what we're going to do is we're going to draw in this just the thing that we want to view. All right. So actually, this might not be the best way to do this. Maybe we should do something a little more complicated. But let's just leave it this way. We don't need anything too complicated until later. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to make a surface. And I'm going to use that surface to draw on. So I'm not going to draw directly onto the canvas with this square class, this square object. Square object's going to draw onto a little tiny canvas, and then the viewer is going to place that little tiny canvas on the screen wherever it wants to put it. We will not need that color key for the square because we don't want the squares to be transparent. That color key just makes whatever it is transparent. So we need a size for this thing. It's a square, so let's do that. Oh, I did something. Okay, there it is. Okay, so this thing is a square, so it just needs scale. So the scale is going to be 15. All right, let's see. Is that right? Do I have that? Yeah, I do have that double parentheses in there. So it's sending this tuple in there. Now I need a color. The fill should be black. So black is 0, 0, 0. And I don't want to draw a circle, I need to draw a rectangle. And this is going to be a problem because I don't actually remember what it is. And I will call this out, because what I'm making is something to send out of my stupid view for the circle. So I'm drawing directly on the out bit there. On the out with a color. We don't have a color right now, so we'll just draw white. We need, oh, I don't remember. I think we need position. So let's draw 1, 1. And on top of that, we need the size. So let's do scale -2, scale -2. And I do not remember, but I think the last thing in there for drawing the rectangle is adding the width. So let's go. It doesn't like something. Class square does not match outer indent. Oh, okay. Indentation is important. And so are colons. All right. Yeah, you're going to see me do that a million times if you're actually going to watch this, which you've already stopped watching this. This is 20 minutes in and I haven't done anything. So we've got the square there, and it still does nothing, right? So right now it doesn't do anything. Let's see. It should go to a game model. Game model has a map. Let's see. What's subscribed to what? Game model gives us that thing. Screen subscribed to map. Okay. Screen subscribed to player model. Get player and subscribe to self model get player. Okay. All right. And here I'm just going to say that self map gives us a square, right? This is not good. I'm going to have to change that next time, but that's fine. But since I left that in view, that should be fine. So let's go over to the game view. So this thing should give us a rectangle. Right now we don't know if it will. All right, so this thing is subscribing to the map. So let's say self.map.view. What should I call that? Map equals self.map.view. That's going to give us a little thing that we can draw on the screen. And I don't have a blit example. Self-screen blit, I think will do it. Map, comma, 0, 0. I think that'll do it. But you may get to see me Google in just a second, since I haven't done anything with Pygame for a while, and that blew up. Okay, so that is in, oops, import Pygame as PG. So probably I shouldn't have any Pygame in the model, right? Let's just get this thing going first. Now what isn't like? Okay, so screen is no good. Oh no, so I'm not really sure what to draw on that. Blitting onto that thing is the right move. So let's see, but screen isn't the thing I should be blitting onto. GC is a background. Oh, no, actually that's fine. The issue here is I didn't return out. Okay. So now we try it, and we get a little square up here. So we've made a square. Don't we feel good? Now all we have to do is make a whole lot more. Okay, so that's a little bit small. We might need to make the size a little bit larger, but that's perfectly fine. Although I'm absolutely sure that what I do not want to do what I absolutely do not want to do is have anything with Pygame here. So I'm going to set my viewer for this guy over here, right? So now we're going to say, all right, this is my viewer for an empty square. Okay, so I'm going to have empty square in game view. I don't mind having to import game view into the model. Probably it would be better to do all this up there. So now we'll set viewer empty square. That's what I did. I'll need to change that name later. I don't really like that name. Let's see, did I do things that made it not work? Oh. That's in game view. And what other problems did I have? Okay, this might be redundant. Let me see. Oh, and that gets it there. Let's see. I'm not sure if that's a good way to do this, but it does work. So let's see if we do game model and we say, okay, we want or not. Game model, was that a, no. Where did we have that? Down here? No, okay, it was in view. Let's do 25 and see what happens. Does that make a larger square? Oops. And that does make a larger square. Okay, so we've got a larger square, so we can keep our scale in here. So let's change this number here, self-scale, to something like that, and that way we can modify it on the fly. All right. Let's look at controls. Okay, so what I did not put in here is the section for changing the scale. If event type. No, I don't need to do that right now. I don't need to do the scale changing stuff right now. We'll save it for later. We had a success. We will keep our success. We will be happy with our success for the next 24 hours. All right. So there we are. We're good. Next up, we'll make a room. That is, basically, we'll make a map, and I'll hand make a pattern. I don't know how I'll hand make it yet. I'll have to decide. Maybe I'll start with the files so that we can stamp things all over the place later on. That's a good idea. I don't like Guff McGufface. I like Guffy McGufface. Okay, that's sufficient. I